This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Hey, Top Shop Podcast listeners, have a treat. We have a lady, female auto repair shop owner. So as many Top Shop Podcast listeners know, we are a real advocate for amazing women in automotive. So we try to do our best to promote amazing women in automotive. Well, we have a whole team of them here in Vermont. So we have Demeny Pollitt. She's Girlington Garage. Good name for a shop in South Burlington, Vermont. 17 years as a shop owner. So now, first of all, did you start your shop from scratch, or did you buy an established shop?
No, I started it from scratch.
Okay. You are what we call a 4%er. Do you know what that means?
Oh, no.
All right. When we were creating Top Shop Podcast, we had to have some kind of a criteria for guests. So
Sure.
my wife found the numbers that approximately 80% of businesses, including auto repair shops, fail in the first 5 years. They started from
Right.
scratch.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
of that 20% that make it, 80% of those fail in the next 5 years.
Oh, gosh.
Only 4% of people, you only out of 100 people that start a shop from scratch, only 4 make it past that 10-year mark, and you're one of them.
Wow.
How
Cool.
does that make you feel, right?
That makes me feel pretty good.
Yep, there's so it's, now I was at a business conference many years ago, and it was Keith Cunningham. Yeah, I remember the guy's name. And he said that he would never ever start a business, and he always bought businesses, and then he just knew what to do with them. He would look at it and say, "Oh, the owner's not doing this," and they would suggest it to the owner, no, and the owner would fight to stay the way they are. And then he'd
Right.
just buy the business, implement what he knew what was wrong, and then sell it.
Yeah.
So, but he used the metaphor of starting a business of going to the airport and going to your gate, and the gate agent says, "Oh, hello, Mr. Donahue. Do you see all those parts out there on the tarmac? That's your plane. Here's the manual on how to put it together. Oh, and sir, after you get it put together, here's the manual on how to fly it."
Fly it.
That's starting a
I
business.
wish there was a manual, actually.
Yeah, that's starting a business. So, Demeny, so tell me,
really good.
how'd you get here? I mean, I don't know what the percentage of women auto repair shop owners are in the US, but it is very small.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Amazing Women in Automotive?
No, I don't think I have,
Okay, well,
actually.
you're going to be a member by the end of this podcast.
All right.
Tiffany Strado is the one that runs it. You make a donation, and then whatever, it's up to you. And join because that's what they're looking for, amazing women in automotive. Because there's this 300,000 or more deficit that we have in technicians and other people in the auto repair industry. Amazing Women in Automotive is trying to spread the word that, hey, this is not a male only.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So
That's a
and
great thing.
and then to send the message clearly to other auto repair shop owners, I got one thing for you to think of: Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my mother worked in a tank factory
Did she?
in World War II.
Wow. I have
So-
photos of people like your mother up on my walls.
And so after the war, they were, okay, war's over, your mom's, and that was the biggest baby boom in US history. But who put the tanks together? Who built the Jeeps? Who made the parachutes? The women. So
It was all women,
there's no reason that women can't fill more of the gap that we have in the automotive aftermarket repair industry. And you guys are great proof of that. So I'll get you in contact with Tiffany at the
That'd be really cool.
end of the podcast. Sure. And you two are going to get along great, I promise. She runs a transmission shop. She's the owner.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing Women in Automotive was actually started by a male. And then as he got older and left, Tiffany took over. So
that's good.
You'll get
That's
the whole
good.
story from her. So
Cool.
So tell me, how'd you get here? How did you go from college to deciding I am going to be an auto repair shop owner and open a shop? So tell us the story. How'd that happen?
So when I was in tech school, I went into it. I didn't know the difference between a socket and a wrench. I knew nothing at all.
Okay.
And I thought it would be like an interesting mystery to solve every day. I thought it would keep me entertained for long enough to hold a job, maybe have a career. And so while I was in school, I still had really crappy junk cars because I was a very poor student.
Okay.
I think I was about 25.
Poor
Um,
poor student in finances. You were good, right? Right,
yes, I was a
right.
very
Okay.
good
You're a
student
very good student,
with
but poor
no
student in
money.
finances. Just wanted to clear that up. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so starting school, I still didn't know how to work on cars myself. This is what happened. As I was learning, they were teaching us about suspension, and learned about tie rod ends and sway bars. And I remembered a time years before when I had gone to get snow tires maybe put on my on an old car I had. And the technician came out after doing the tires and said, "Hey, I want to show you something." And he brought me out to the parking lot. We got on our backs and he grabbed this rod that went from one wheel to the other, and he grabbed it and he moved it back and forth a little bit. And he said, "See how that's moving? That's your tie rod end, and it shouldn't be moving like that." And I said, "Well, I see a thing and it is moving." So I had to borrow money in order to get it fixed, but I paid to get it fixed. And I always remembered tie rod end because it was, tire rod end. I didn't know what it really was.
Sure.
Anyway, in school, I realized what he was showing me was the sway bar. He wasn't showing me a tie rod end. So either A, he made a mistake and he showed me the wrong thing, or he was just taking advantage of me. He was showing me a moving part and scaring me. I didn't know. And I thought, I still don't know how to work on my own car. So I still need to go to mechanics myself. And I really wish I knew of a woman mechanic. I would travel great distances to go to a woman who knows how to work on cars. And then I realized I bet a lot of other women feel this way.
Hmm.
And I thought, I'm going to start my own shop. And from that point on, that was what I was working towards. Every class I took outside of the requirements was how to start a business, how to run a business, business law, all of that. And every job I took after that, it was all working towards opening my own shop.
Wow.
And then I did.
So tell me, starting from scratch, what were what were your biggest challenges in the beginning getting started?
There were so many, but one huge challenge was that our lifts didn't come in time. So I opened and I was working just on the floor on my back. Um, and I think it was about a month. Like there was some snafu in the shipping, and it was about a month before we got lifts. Once I was able to ramp up and start hiring technicians, it was really hard to find technicians because I was so new, and
Hmm.
what technician would want to leave a solid job for a shop that had just opened that didn't even have all of its lifts yet? And
Right.
I think I had a technician lined up to start when I opened, and 2 days before he backed out. He said, "Oh no,
Mhm.
I can't do this." Um, so finding technicians was hard. I eventually ended up I hired a couple guys that I had worked with at dealerships before, and they sort of came and went, a couple of guys. And then I ended up hiring an old classmate from tech school. And he was really solid. He was an excellent technician. And I think that sort of like gave me a base to work from. And from then on, it was easier to find technicians.
Oh, once you had a really good one there working there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And once I had a couple years under my belt, I wasn't going to shut down right away.
Sure, you're right. And I can skip right to that question because every podcast that's the question I ask. Do you have any advice on how to find, hire, and retain good tech? Because it's the biggest
Yeah,
one of the biggest issues in the automotive aftermarket industry.
yeah. I think um it's been the biggest issue since the day I opened.
Since the day you opened.
I think that it's a big part of why I haven't expanded. In the beginning, I dreamt of having franchises all over the country. And after a few years, realizing it was incredibly hard just to fill the one shop, how was I going to open more shops? There
Right.
just weren't the technicians around. I mean, my only advice is, so in opening my shop, one of my goals was to provide a really solid job that technicians could retire on. I grew up hearing about, people who worked in factories their whole lives and then they retired with pensions and there just aren't jobs like that out there anymore. And so I really wanted to provide something like that. So I think that's part of retaining technicians is paying really well, help figuring out, providing a way for them to save money for retirement. I pay 100% of their health insurance and life insurance, disability. So giving people a good, solid job, that is one way. Having an environment to work in that is welcoming and caring and fun. I think that's really important. Hiring, I mean, finding and hiring, I think it's until there are more technicians in the field, I think it's always going to be a struggle. Right now, the manager of my shop, all of her free time is spent trying to find technicians, and interviewing. And right now we're considering paying for a technician in California to fly out for a day so that they can work with us for a day to see if we're a good fit, because
Oh, I see.
there aren't technicians around. It's
Right.
it's a huge investment to be able to find them. It's a huge investment to keep them. And if you can find good ones, it's worth it.
Sure, sure. A lot of shop owners tell me they get involved with the local high school,
Yeah.
technical colleges. They some other tips that I've heard is they get students to come to the shop.
Yep.
So all of these are it's a real. It used to be along the 70s you could just run an ad in the
Yeah.
newspaper. Nowadays it's like there's all the other trades are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
HVAC
Yeah.
companies, plumbing companies, they're all going to the same thing, going to schools trying to snag these same people and
Yeah.
convince them to get into the trades, and stay out of the um, degree things because, and it is a pretty good presentation to the students that, hey, look, AI is going to replace 30% of jobs.
Yeah. Very quickly.
Let's see AI or a robot do an alignment on an ADAS.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So you want job
Let's,
security,
yeah.
you make a lot of money,
Yeah.
to become an ASE certified master tech, and that's
Yeah.
150 a year in
You're
some
set
spots.
for life if you
Yeah.
want to be. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So anyway, those are just some tips that I've heard. So
Yeah.
they start early because, and then the one person will, hey, I'm really interested in this. And then you find that one student and then you sweep floors and then,
Yeah.
change tires and do oil changes. And,
Slowly work them up.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had shop
Absolutely.
owners tell me that's what they have to do
Yeah.
to
I've hired a couple. Right now
help them with tools. Yeah.
we have two technicians that had almost no experience when they started, and one of them is now he's the lead tech in my shop. He is
Oh,
an
wow.
incredible diagnostician. He just cares so much about the job. And then the second one we just hired, and his drive is unparalleled. He's just so excited to be in the industry, and he has a great feeling for it. He
Mhm.
just loves being a technician. So we've been very lucky in that. But in the past, I have hired kids right out of tech school, and they weren't, out of tech school, you don't really know anything. You don't know anything until you've worked for 3 years at
Right.
least.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
And being a small shop, it's really difficult to be able to cover the expense of the mistakes that new technicians make.
Oh, okay.
And so right now I've had great luck with that, but in the past I've had really terrible luck with it. I think you have to be really careful. You have to really uh, spend the time to keep your eye on the technician and train them properly, in order to protect yourself as a business, I think. But I think that's a way to go. I think
Yeah, you're already
there's not
doing it.
much else out there at this
Yeah,
point.
that's it. Yeah, you got it. Now, you mentioned something that was, really um piqued my curiosity. It's one of the questions on my list with every shop owner. In the 1970s, if you went to a shop owner and asked them about culture, they'd say that they didn't eat yogurt. But now,
Yeah.
you want to keep a team, and it's much easier for shops because the average shop has 4 to 7 people working in it, and
Yeah.
you have that small tight knit family thing going on. And you've already said several fun. So how it sounds like you've already built a really good culture with your shop. Any tips on helping shop owners create a good culture and then keep it? Because one wrong hire
Yeah.
can destroy a shop's culture pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, any tips on culture and any things that you guys do? Like, do you do outings together? Do you have lunches together? Anything
Yeah.
that's culture
Yeah.
related?
We have lunch once a week together where the shop pays for lunch.
Okay.
It's a shop meeting, but we also, the first half of it is spent just chatting.
Mhm.
We have a holiday party. Um, I don't like to
Mhm.
I don't like to plan events and force my employees to
Oh,
come. They spend so much time with
here.
us
Yeah.
at work, right?
Right.
And I feel like their time off is so precious to spend with their families. So I don't do a lot of out of work activities. We do always
Okay.
have a holiday party. We always usually once a year we'll get together and I don't know, have a barbecue or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't like asking them to spend more time with their coworkers.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but I do have, I'm not doing direct managing anymore, but when I was, and my manager now, uh, I would have one-on-one meetings with every single employee every single week,
Okay.
talking about what worked, what didn't work, what their goals are, what's holding them back, how can we help, and then just asking them if there's anything else they want to talk about. And almost always there's something else they want to talk about, whether it's at work or it's personal stuff. And I think that's a really big, giving your employees the space to open up and talk about themselves and to be able to relate with them. I think that's a really important part of building a relationship that they care about. Um, and so I would highly recommend that, just spending time with each employee
One-on-one.
individually every week. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing.
When you
Yeah.
are hiring a new person or tech, do you do team interviews or
Hmm.
some shops do that? They won't hire
Yeah.
somebody unless that new hire has actually talked to everybody on the team and everybody on the team says, yeah, yeah, let's give them a shot. You do that.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to keep culture because that lets you're telling your other employees and techs that their opinion matters in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We do we'll do the phone interview, and then we'll make sure that they come in for a working interview for a full day. We'll
Hmm.
pay them for a full day, and they will work with each tech throughout the day. And then we'll have a sit down lunch with everyone, and everyone, so all the advisors get to meet them and talk to them and ask them questions. Um, and from that, it's really incredible uh, how much of a sense of what kind of a tech they are you can get from just spending a few hours with them in person. And yeah, it definitely, I mean, the everyone else's opinions are the most important part of deciding. I mean, aside from skills and ability and work ethic, but they really have to fit in with everyone. They have to be a part of the group.
Mm-hmm. So, what advice would you give to someone just starting a shop today? What
Um,
kind of advice would you give? Hey, I'm going to go open an auto repair shop. Any advice you can give me?
I would say don't.
Good
But
advice,
if they were determined,
right?
I did a business startup class before I opened my business, and it helped me to write a business plan. And it was probably about the class and the research and everything. It was probably about 6 months of planning and really like figuring out the financials, figuring out how much I was going to spend on stock, figuring out how much I was going to spend on employees, how much I was going to spend on decorations, how much I was going to spend on tools, etc. And it was exhaustive. I also did a lot of research into the market in the area that I was going to be in, who my clients would be, trying to figure out where I should put advertising money, where I shouldn't put advertising money. And that I think that was absolutely key in my business being a success. There were so many times in the first year where some disaster would happen. I had convinced my mom to come and work with me to try and start things up. She eventually stayed and became a partner, but at this point, so some disaster would happen and my mom would be like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" And every single time it was in the business plan. I knew what to do. It was okay. There was a plan for it.
Right.
I think without that, I would have had no idea what I was getting into. I still didn't have any idea what I was getting into,
Sure.
but like I was financially stable. I had backups. And so that's what I would recommend. Really taking a business startup class, writing a real business plan that you can actually follow.
Right. Yeah, that's great advice. So, I think a lot of auto shops get started by a lot of auto shops get started by mechanics that want to, branch out on their own, but they have no business experience whatsoever, and they're going to go
Yeah.
from being a technician to auto repair shop owner. And a lot of them really never make that transition. They could just continue to work on cars, and
Yeah.
they don't do any kind of marketing whatsoever, and then they don't have a exit plan. And after 30 or 40 years, they just close the door one day. So half of
Right.
all the attendees at Vision
Mm.
owners don't have a website.
Oh, really?
Half, yeah,
That's very surprising.
yeah, isn't it? And year
Yeah.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
So it
think
goes,
that,
it goes to show you the mentality. Yeah. So,
yeah,
and a lot of them, they just don't want any kind of growth. And after 20 years, they've got a great referral business. They don't need any other. They've got two bay, three
sure.
bay, and they stay full, and they've got good reviews, so, but then, when it comes, time to sell, they don't have the digital presence to go with it. And any newer owner that's besides
Yeah,
the books, that's the first thing they're going to look at. How many reviews do you have? Where do you rank
right.
at Google for your keywords? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
speaking, let's talk about finances, because that's for sure. No shop is going to make it those 10 years, let alone 17,
Right.
with bad financial habits or planning. Any advice that you could give to owners on how you've been able to manage your finances well, purchase new equipment, and grow the shop? Um, uh, any advice on the financial front?
I think that I was very lucky in that I was able to get family loans for almost all of the money I needed
Awesome.
to start the shop.
Mhm.
And I was able to pay it back within, I think, a year and a half. Um, okay, let me pull my thoughts together. So, um, in the business plan, I made sure that once I figured out, how much money I needed to open the doors and advertise and all of that, to add another 16% on for emergencies. So, and that would get me, that would help me pay salaries if we didn't have, salaries if we didn't have any business. It would help me pay for any major tool malfunctions, whatever. So I had baked into those loans enough money for emergencies. Um, because I was because I had such a good plan, I was able to buy everything outright. So I never took out
Okay.
any loans for equipment.
Right. So, okay.
I,
Yep.
yeah, everything was paid up front. So I've never had, besides the first major loans, I've never had debt that I've been paying off. So all the money either goes to savings or paying my bills. And I think that was really helpful. And I continued through the years buying everything up front, not doing payment plans, not paying any interest.
Okay.
But I don't know how good advice that is for other people because
Right.
I was so lucky.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't think everyone has my situation.
Yeah. You had a lot of family support,
I really did. Yeah. Yeah.
But it sounds like you handled the finances, coming in well. So as money came in, you knew, oh, I had 58,000 in the account. That's not all
Yes.
yours,
Right.
So
Right.
you're not gonna go to Bora Bora on vacation.
Right.
So
Exactly. And I didn't
some
go on
shop owners,
vacation.
yeah, they put a percentage aside in a separate account for marketing. They put a percentage
Yeah.
aside in a separate account for taxes. There's all kinds of different things that I've heard
Yeah. Yeah.
that successful shop owners do. But obviously, your framework, has worked well and kept you in business all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. I've been very lucky.
Is there any, um, do you have a family?
Oh no, I'm single.
Okay.
My shop is my world.
Yeah, okay. So we'll skip the work-life balance question.
Yeah. I have none.
Whoever's editing for me, just edit that out. What trends or developments do you really see that are shaping the future of auto repair?
I mean the lack of technicians is one.
Right.
Um, I think it's the ADOS thing has been very interesting. I think
Mhm.
for a few years, everyone was, ADOS is the future. Everyone's going to have to get ADOS. And a few years has gone by, and those shops that are doing ADOS are not seeing the returns they need to be seeing. And it hasn't affected, it hasn't affected our shop the way we thought we would have to. We haven't been having to refer cars to dealerships or ADOS shops for anything. We've been able to do alignments, no problem. Electric, I've invested heavily in educating my techs about electric and hybrid vehicles. I think that's going to continue to be a trend. I think
Okay.
more and more people are going to move towards that. So it's really important that we know how to do that. I think the right to repair is an ongoing issue, and I think it's going to become worse and worse.
Okay. I think so.
I think the proprietary information that manufacturers have, maybe it's not going to get worse, but it's just going to get more and more expensive to be able to access that information. And it's just going to be more money that we have to pass on to the customers to be able to repair their cars properly. And I don't really have any ideas of what to do about that, but it is something that I think about pretty often.
Mhm.
What else? So I think in terms of the technician issue, I think that shops are going to have to develop training and apprenticeship programs.
Mhm.
I think almost every shop will have to in order to be able to find technicians. I think, um, so many other trades have paid apprenticeships where you can learn the job while working and while getting paid. The technicians or the other trades, they don't have to invest in tools the way that technicians do.
Mhm.
And so that makes going into automotive, unless you love cars and working on cars, why would you choose to go into automotive when you can go into electrical, immediately start getting paid and having to invest almost nothing in tools?
Right.
It's a terrible decision. No one who really thought about it would choose automotive. So I think because it's such an emergency right now, we're going to have to figure out how to make this job more attractive, how to take care of those tools for the technicians, how to take care of the training, maybe how to do apprenticeship programs. I'm not sure, but I think that is something that independent shops really need to think about and figure out.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, so I heard a lot of things there. So, so you think the electric and the hybrid will continue to increase
At least
over the years?
in my area, in
Okay.
Vermont. Yeah, it's just growing more and more. And yes, at
Okay.
least in New England. I don't know about the rest of the country, but
Right. Yeah. 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 New England. Right. Yep. So, I personally, I'm hoping for a hydrogen.
yeah,
We can't figure out how to move it and store it.
right, right.
So, but the infrastructure's there, the internal combustion engine's there, everything's
It
there.
would be amazing.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. The battery
Yeah,
stuff is pretty.
it's awful.
It's an environmental disaster, period.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, yeah, it's
So
really
it's being
bad.
sold to the consumer as the green deal, like,
And it's not.
trees and flowers. No, it's the green deal. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So can you recommend any books, any resources or tools that you think would help a shop owner?
I hate technical books, and I hate what are they called? Parables. I hate I just can't read those books. I really struggle to read them, and I have tried.
Right.
So no, I can't recommend any books. I can say that, like, when starting the business, the resource that I found the most helpful was it's the census, the information from the census, and you if you can figure out what your codes are for what you're going to be offering, whether that's exhaust work or maintenance, or I'm trying to remember like what the different groups are. You can find out so much information about uh, what who your customers are, where they are, and what they are spending money on. I find it was incredibly helpful to me. I did The only reason I was able to access it was because the business startup class I was in paid the local college to allow us access to it. But
Oh,
I imagine that if you can talk to the school, there would be a way for you to access that kind of information. So the census information is really incredible.
okay. All right. That's awesome. So, any tips on retaining good customers? So, I mean,
Mm,
I might even stop asking this question because it's so common sense, but I hear different things. I hear
okay.
we call them after we leave a card in their car with some candy. I've heard a lot of different things. But do you have any strategy for, making sure that you retain the customers that do come to you?
Um, so I mean, we do all of that stuff as well. We leave a treat in their car.
Do
We
you really?
do
Yeah.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but uh, I think the most important thing is um not afterwards. I think it is while they are there, while you have them face to face, it's making
Mhm.
a real connection with them.
Okay.
So genuinely caring about what is happening in their life at this moment, or where they got those earrings, or why they're in a bad mood today, or whatever, like really making a connection, and showing genuine care for them. It's one of the things that when training advisors, I feel it's necessary to teach the advisors how to ask questions of the customers rather than talking about yourself. Don't talk about yourself, ask the customer.
Right. Okay.
Get them to talk to you, get them to feel comfortable with you. If you open up to someone, it's really hard not to care about them and not to want to spend more time with them. And so I think that's really the most important part of retaining customers, is making that genuine connection with them.
Yeah, that sounds like really good advice.
Cool.
Demeny, I know you're a busy owner, and I do very much appreciate you taking your time.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me
on the podcast. So you attend Vision, I believe, right?
I do. I'm not going this year, but I've gone the last 7 or 8 years, I think.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and my whole shop goes.
Okay, you shut down the whole shop to go. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have
Yeah.
training. So that tells all the other listeners how important training is, ongoing training.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.